Welcome once again to Commander by Dana. Today we continue our series of decks led by the new legendary creatures from the Marvel set. Leading today's Bracket 3 deck is one of my favorite characters, the mighty Thor, Jane Foster. And though the movie version was pretty good, the comic book story was way better. The mighty Thor, Jane Foster, is a 3-mana 3/3 legendary human god hero with flying. Whenever she attacks, we exile up to one target non-token artifact or creature, then return that card to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. Additionally, whenever an equipment we control enters, we draw a card. I don't do this for every commander, but I felt I should give a bit of background on the lore behind this card. Feel free to skip ahead to the timestamp you see on the screen if you want to avoid spoilers for the mighty Thor, specifically the comic book run. No one knew who this woman was wielding Mjolnir for several issues. We had our suspicions, but no confirmation. You see, Thor was no longer worthy to wield Mjolnir. After a fight on the moon, Nick Fury whispered something to Thor, and he was no longer able to pick up the hammer. But the Nine Realms needs a champion, so Frigga finds someone worthy. Eventually, we find out it was Jane Foster. Here's the problem. Jane Foster is dying of breast cancer. Her body is literally eating itself from the inside. And one of the ways we fight cancer, especially lethal cancers, is through chemotherapy. Now, I'm oversimplifying here, but chemo is poisonous. Sure, the poison is mostly directed at the cancer cells, but quite a few healthy cells get destroyed in the process. The reason I bring this up is because Mjolnir removes all the toxic and harmful substances every time Jane picks it up, which means her cancer comes back with a vengeance every time she becomes Thor. This entire arc is heart-wrenching, but also one of the best arcs written in the last 20 years or so. You should pick it up. Okay, so our commander cares about equipment, but she also blinks things. So, which should we focus on? How about both? Let's have an equipment deck where we pump up our commander alongside some blink shenanigans. Sounds fun. But before we get to our deck list, a quick word from our sponsor, BCW. BCW has been making high-quality, cost-effective products for both collectors and retailers for over 40 years. If you want to store, display, or sort your cards, check them out. I've been using their inner sleeves for years now and have never had an issue. Be sure to click the link down below and use code DANON10 for a 10% discount on your order. In order to build a functional commander deck, you need lots of different pieces, which is why I try to rely on my handy-dandy checklist. 50 mana sources, usually split between 37 lands and 13 pieces of ramp, 10 pieces of card advantage, 8 to 10 pieces of spot removal, 2 to 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate, and 1 sudden I win card. Real quick, before we get to our deck list, I do occasionally stream on this channel, and if you see me live, come say hi. I'll be building commander decks either for patrons or for future videos, so make sure you're subscribed and click the bell icon so you'll get notified when I'm live. Starting off our land base, we've got Command Tower and Exotic Orchard, 2 lands that can go in just about any multicolored deck regardless of budget. For fetch lands, we're running Flooded Strand, Polluted Delta, Windswept Heath, Arid Mesa, and Misty Rainforest. Remember, just because it says forest in the rules text doesn't mean it has a green color identity. For typed dual lands, we're running Hallowed Fountain, Meticulous Archive, Glacial Floodplain, Idyllic Beachfront, Prairie Stream, and Irrigated Farmland. Next up, for untyped dual-colored lands, we've got Sea of Clouds, Deserted Beach, Glacial Fortress, Flood Farm Verge, Mystic Gate, Adarkar Wastes, Hengegate Pathway, Port Town, and Azorius Chancery. Finally, we've got Scavenger Grounds serving as our utility land, along with 7 plains and 7 islands as basics. A nice solid mana base. I know my land bases are pretty straightforward, but I'm old school. I mostly want lands for mana, not weird effects. Our mana ramp package starts off with Peregrine Drake, Cloud of Fairies, and Solemn Simulacrum, all serving as blink targets. Next up, we've got Sword of the Animist, Sword of Feast and Famine, and Sword of Hearth and Home, all helping with our equipment theme. We've also got Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Talisman of Progress, Azorius Signet, Mind Stone, Chromatic Lantern, and Thrawn Dynamo serving as mana rocks. Finally, Old Reliable Smothering Tithe to annoy the table into conceding. Our card advantage package consists of Emeritus of Ideation, Archaeomancer, Dowerport Mage, Muldrifter, Cloudblazer, Swordsman Steel, Pure Steel Paladin, SRAM Senior Edificer, Sigarda's Aid, Open the Armory, Rhystic Study, Sun Titan, and Wall of Omens. Lots of ways to dig through our deck, find answers, and keep our hands full. For interaction and spot removal, we've got Swords to Plowshares, Path to Exile, Counterspell, Negate, Generous Gift, Disenchant, Commit Memory, Witch Enchanter, Venser Shaper Savant, and Riptide Gearhulk. I wanted at least a few effects that we could flicker over and over again. Our board wipes consist of Cyclonic Rift, Austere Command, and Single Combat. Not too shabby. The core of our deck consists of Swiftfoot Boots, Nettle Cyst, Hammer of Nizan, Thrawn Power Suit, and Genji Glove. I know that doesn't look like it a lot, but we have a lot of other equipment that I've already mentioned. Also, I thought about including Blackblade Reforged, but figured that would be in poor taste after the movie, so I left it out. Now for our Flicker package, we're running Skycoach Conductor, Daydream, Ephemerate, Soul Herder, Cloud Shift, Ghostly Flicker, Momentary Blink, Restoration Angel, Essence Flux, Eerie Interlude, Displacer Kitten, Felidar Guardian, and Brago King Eternal. We've also got some end-of-the-turn flicker effects to bring more value in Teleportation Circle and Thassa Deep Dwelling. Speaking of adding value, I made sure to include Panharmonicon and Elishnorn Mother of Machines. Nothing's better than getting double triggers when our creatures re-enter the battlefield. Now that we have our deck list, let's compare it to our checklist. 52 mana sources split between 37 lands, 14 pieces of ramp, and 1 MDFC. A little high, I know, but some of our ramp is situational, so it's fine. 14 pieces of card advantage, counting our commander. 10 pieces of interaction, 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate in Commit Memory and Scavenger Grounds, 1 sudden I win card in Genji Glove. Okay, so Genji Glove won't give us infinite combats. We can't flicker it over and over again like we can with Aurelia. But what we can do is give our commander double strike and an extra combat phase. All we need to do is get her to 6 power, which shouldn't be too hard in this deck. But that's not what we're here to discuss. We're here to discuss how gross Emeritus of Ideation and Displacer Kitten are together. Take however much blue mana we have, multiply that number by 3, then draw that many cards. All at instant speed. So if we have 5 blue mana available to us, we can draw 15 cards. For those who aren't following, let me explain. Emeritus of Ideation enters prepared, meaning we can cast Ancestral Recall, drawing us 3 cards. Displacer Kitten says whenever we cast a non-creature spell, we may flicker a non-land permanent card we control. So we cast Ancestral Recall, Displacer Kitten triggers, we exile Emeritus of Ideation and then return to the battlefield, then Ancestral Recall finally resolves. We draw 3 cards and then can repeat that as many times as we can pay for it. If only we had an infinite combo in the deck and could take advantage of generating infinite blue mana. Oh wait, we do! Good thing it's a 3-card combo, otherwise this would have to be a bracket 4 deck. Are you building the Mighty Thor, Jane Foster? What's your secret deck? Leave a comment below. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cute Stuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, she can be reached at cutestuff.edits@gmail.com. Link is down below. If you're looking for ways to support the channel directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/Danon. You can have a video made or just ask for help building or tuning a deck list. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to all of my patrons: Waffles, Marcus, Brett, Roxy, Alex, Robert, Pi, Kazaris, Patrick, Boomy, Oscar, Justin, Sleech, Luke, Mr. Salty, Daniel, Brian, and Enrawaka, Telethia, and Azander. You guys are awesome. I post new Commander Deck videos every weekday, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of new videos. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time on Commander by Danon.